Tank, he good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he can hit. He has a great chin too, because this guy, he'll let you get out punches, and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he hits you, it's a wrap.
All-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He's able to.
Errol Spence was left in awe after witnessing Terence Crawford's intense training for the Canelo fight. Having shared the ring with him, Spence acknowledged Crawford's exceptional ring IQ and elite skill set. Watching Crawford's recent training sessions, Spence couldn't believe the incredible speed, precision, and masterful footwork on display. Crawford looked like a monster in motion, sharp, explosive, and laser-focused. This version of Crawford is a formidable force that Canelo cannot afford to underestimate. When Terence Crawford reflected on his bout with Errol Spence, a mutual respect was evident between the two elite fighters. Known for his patient and cerebral style, Crawford explained how he systematically wears down opponents before unleashing devastating flurries of punches, emphasizing his calculated approach in the ring.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
Well, he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
Given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down. Just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one punch knockout. He has power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. Then he just wear you down.
Right. Yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything start weakening. Those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Former champion and analyst Chris Algieri offered a sharp comparison between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He pointed out that while Crawford has consistently dominated and controlled his opponents, Canelo has had moments where he appeared overwhelmed, what insiders call getting bossed. Algieri highlighted Bivol victory over Canelo, where size, jab, and discipline dictated the fight, suggesting that Crawford's style, rooted in control, adaptability, and technical mastery, poses significant challenges for Canelo, even as he moves up in weight.
And Terence Crawford, who do you think would be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys, number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we see Crawford looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and not happening to himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that, but I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So if we're talking about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that is just, and psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, but this guy's beating this, but stylistic, even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? Yeah, that's good. That's going to come into play.
The boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights. The Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy Joe Saunders situation. When he gets that in his head that he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous.
Veteran commentator Max Kellerman provided a balanced analysis, stating that both Crawford and Canelo have distinct advantages. However, he leaned toward Crawford as the more complete fighter, citing his recent peak in timing, switch-hitting ability, and knockout power. While Canelo remains a formidable opponent, Kellerman noted signs of slowing in his movement and aggression, and although Canelo's size could be an advantage in clinches, Crawford's overall skill set makes him the slight favorite at this stage.
Punching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has.
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has the better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
The upcoming mega fight is filled with intriguing dynamics. Crawford is stepping into unfamiliar territory by moving up in weight, which could impact his speed and stamina. Meanwhile, Canelo, despite his extensive experience at this level, is no longer the explosive force he once was. Recent fights show Canelo favoring control over aggression, which somewhat levels the playing field. If Crawford can bring his best sharp footwork, ring IQ, and stamina, he has a real shot at victory.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class, and in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of.
Young prospect Abdullah Mason expressed strong confidence in Crawford, predicting a surprising win. He highlighted Crawford's underrated power and suggested that his ability to generate force through timing, angles, and precision might catch Canelo off guard, especially if Crawford connects cleanly in the later rounds. Mason's bold prediction underscores belief in Crawford's potential to shock many.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Dimitri Bivol, the fighter who recently defeated Canelo, offered high praise for Crawford. He noted Crawford's impressive bulk and skill set, believing that Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo. Bivol emphasized Crawford's discipline, speed, and intelligence as key assets, adding weight to the idea that this fight is more competitive than it might appear on paper.
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I saw his beat. and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things which we don't know how he will deal with. He needs to get used to the power, pressure of 168. Different. Yeah. Maybe he will get used, and how he will be feeling himself the same day when he's fighting. So his training camp will go a lot of things, but he's able. He has skills. He's awkward. He can use two boxing fans. It's benefits.
I was absolutely invented to buy Scotland. I thought too. I thought that's the thing. Was a cheap one.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jamel Charlo, people like weight, your weight. It work tall. The course is one of the best parts in the world.
Keith Thurman provided a nuanced perspective, suggesting that although the fight may seem close to casual observers, a deeper technical analysis reveals critical imbalances. Citing Canelo's struggle against Jermall Charlo's movement and footwork, Thurman argued that Crawford's cerebral style could create even greater problems for Canelo, potentially making the fight more challenging for the Mexican superstar.